The train to somewhere. Part 1. A quiet morning. It was a quiet morning. The sky was soft and grey, with clouds that looked like wool. Lena stood on the small train platform, holding her bag. She took a deep breath. The air smelled like rain, even though it wasn't raining yet. She didn't know exactly where she was going. She just wanted to leave the city for a while. She had taken a few days off work, turned off her phone, and bought a ticket for the next train wherever it went. There were only 3 people at the station: a man with a dog, an older woman reading a newspaper, and Lena. She closed her eyes for a moment and listened. A bird sang softly in a tree nearby. The train tracks hummed faintly, like they were remembering something. Then, in the distance, she heard it, the sound of a train approaching, slow and steady. Part 2. The ride begins. The train was old, not broken or dirty, just old. It had wooden seats and wide windows that opened slightly at the top. It looked like it had stories to tell. Lena stepped on, found a window seat, and sat down. There were only a few other passengers, quiet people, reading, writing, or looking out of the window. The train moved slowly at first, then it picked up speed, but never too much. It was not a train for people in a hurry. Outside, the city faded away. Tall buildings turned into low houses. Houses became fields. Fields became forests. The rhythm of the train was steady and calming. Clack, 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 clack. Lena leaned her head against the window. She watched the trees go by, green, yellow, brown, and a few still red from autumn. She didn't think about anything. She just let herself watch and listen. Part 3. A stranger's smile. At one small station, a man got on the train. He was carrying a guitar case and wearing a scarf with stars on it. He walked past Lena and nodded politely. His eyes were warm and his smile was soft, not big or loud, just kind. He sat across the aisle, near the back. He took out a notebook and began to write. Later, the train passed a river. The water moved slowly, like it had nowhere to go. Lena reached into her bag and took out a small sandwich. She wasn't very hungry, but she ate slowly, enjoying each bite. The man looked up and smiled again. He said, "That smells good." Lena smiled back and offered half. He accepted it without hesitation. They didn't speak much, but something quiet passed between them, like understanding or peace. Part 4. A stop in the middle of nowhere. After about an hour, the train slowed down and stopped. There was no station, just a little sign that said Clearwater. No town, no buildings, Only trees, a wooden bench, and a small path leading into the forest. No one else got off, but Lena stood up. She didn't know why, she just felt like she needed to. The man with the guitar stood up too. Are you getting off here? He asked. Lena nodded. I think so. He smiled. Me too. Part 5. Into the trees. The train left behind them with a soft whistle. Now it was just the two of them and the forest. They walked together along the narrow path. It was quiet except for birds and the sound of their steps on the leaves. Sunlight broke through the trees in golden lines. Lena felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Calm. They reached a small clearing. In the middle was a lake, smooth like glass. The trees around it stood tall and still, like they were listening. The man took off his scarf and sat down on a flat rock. Lena sat beside him. They didn't speak, they just looked at the lake. After a long time, the man asked, "Why did you take this train?" Lena thought for a moment. "I wanted to be nowhere," she said, "and maybe find something." He nodded. Me too. Part 6. Music in the air. He opened his guitar case. The guitar looked well used, with small scratches and a faded strap. He played a soft melody. The sound blended with the wind and the water. It was simple and beautiful. Lena closed her eyes. She listened deeply to the guitar, to the birds, to the soft breeze. She felt safe. Then he sang quietly. His voice was warm and low, almost like a whisper. Lena didn't understand every word, but she understood the feeling. The song was about time, about waiting, about finding, about sitting still long enough for the world to come back. Part 7. Returning slowly. The sun moved across the sky. They stayed by the lake for hours, saying little. There was no need for words. Later, as the light turned soft and golden, they walked back to the path. When they returned to the bench, the train was already there waiting. Not making noise, just waiting. They got on again and found new seats, this time next to each other. The train began to move. Again, the rhythm came. Clack, 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 clack. Lena rested her head on the back of the seat. She felt lighter, not full of answers, but full of peace. She looked out the window, then at the man beside her. "Thank you," she said softly. He smiled. "Thank you." Part 6. Somewhere new. The train returned to the city, but it didn't feel the same. The buildings looked less heavy. The noise felt softer. The people seemed slower. Or maybe she was just seeing differently. As the train stopped, Lena stood and picked up her bag. The man stayed on the train. "Will you stay in the city?" she asked. Just for a little while, he said. Then I'll get back on the train. Lena nodded. I hope we meet again. He smiled. If we're both going nowhere, maybe we will. She stepped off the train. The platform was busy. The world had returned. But inside her, something had changed.